Couple of porcupines in this tree, making a noise I never heard before. But it's got to be a mating call, I'm assuming. See if we can make another noise here. Apparently I've interrupted them. Oh. I'm up here on a rock, kind of a rock ledge. Backhoe's over there, that's what I came over to get in order to put the compressor up, finished up the rest of that shingling over there on the workshop. Decided to come investigate what the heck's making this noise. Sure enough, porcupines. Let's see if I can get a better shot. So both porcupines are right there. It's just hard to see them because they're like a blob in the camera. Anyways, I've kind of shut them up. I think one of the big one there is the one that was over by my workshop earlier in the month. We'll leave them alone here and let them do their thing. Okay, good morning everyone. I'm not going to be running the remote mic for this part. I'm just going to finish up the rest of the peak on the roof here. I've already did an intro where I showed some porcupines up in trees. I think they were probably doing mating calls, at least probably the male was. I don't know, I'd have to look that up. But anyways, back to work here. I'll try to look at the camera and yell if I have anything to say, but it's pretty much just a little bit more work and I'll be done. So here we go. Pine needles are going crazy. I gotta shut you off because I didn't bring up my utility knife to cut those ridge pieces. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm back. It's a brisk, windy fall morning. I don't know what the temperature is, probably in the high 50s right now. I think it's only supposed to be in the 60s today. Very last piece and put some silicone and stuff to hold it, plus a couple of nails. Alright, let me shut you off and I'll finish this up. piece of ridge going on. We're done. Okay, girls, thank you. You made the job a lot easier. Okay, let me shut you off and I'll give you an overview of the roof, and then we'll be done up here, and this will be a wrap. Those extra shingles that I have from that last bundle to do this ridge cap, I'll be able to use them on the other building when I do that next spring, which will be next year. Alright, so let me swing you around and I'll give you a quick shot of the rest of the roof being completed, and we'll go from there. Okay, there's the backhoe with all the equipment I used this morning. And there's the completed roof. Very nice. And I even sprinkled a little bit of stone in the silicone that covers the nails on the last shingle. So, alright guys, let's move on to other things. Be back shortly. Okay, my next project here is going to be doing this soffit. I may set up the remote mic to do this, but right now I don't have the remote mic turned on. I worked on this a little bit last night before it started to rain. Pretty much ready to go. Put an F channel on the wall and J channel out here. I got to put spacers in on all these rafters in order to drop it down 3/4 of an inch to nail my J channel to, so I'll have a nice flat soffit. Squeeze with the hammer, getting it in here. The other one will be nailed up this way, so that'll be easier. The only concern I got is the size of the soffit will be pretty small, so it'll be pretty stiff, but I think it can be put in there okay. Okay, what I got to do now is I got to get the chop saw out and cut a bunch of small pieces to be able to. I think I'm actually going to screw them up on there rather than nail them. It'll be a heck of a lot easier to screw them than nail them. Alright, let me shut you off for a minute until I get all that set up. Okay, I've been got the J channel and the F channel up. Now I'm just fitting pieces in here, soffit pieces. Choo-choo train like a couple of them at a time. Okay, I was able to get a couple more pieces in there. Let me go ahead and cut a couple more. As you can see, my setup is over here on the saw. So I'll leave you on that shot for a few minutes while I go cut a couple more of these. See, I have a jig set up there I'm not using the right saw blade. You're supposed to put a plywood blade in there and put it in there backwards. If you take your time, it doesn't really hurt it. You can do it if you go slow. All right. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has to grip together at that seam. And I can do the two that I put in here now. The hard one is doing it down there where it's inside the J and F channel. But we're managing. I made a little wooden special tool that seems to work pretty good. I think these are a foot wide, so I'm doing a foot at a time, so I got to do basically 24 for 24 foot. It's a slow process, but just one more part of the job. Wow. I just used my hand as a jig that time. That worked good. Hopefully I can do that next time. Having the glove on makes all the difference. Just make sure my spacing is all good. Yeah, looks good. Okay, this is just a manual update. It's another day today. It poured real hard last night, so it's afternoon already. It's starting to dry out a little bit, but I think it is, today's Tuesday. October 1st, I think it is. So anyway, you see I got this transition between the new roof that I put on and the old roof. Well, actually it's the new addition, but it's the roof is in bad shape. So I had cut out a section of it in order to give me access to this gable end to work. Well, now I've got to come up with a solution temporarily for the winter to be able to like put a board up here and then a tarp over it, and to keep the snow from settling down in that crack and creating a mess. So I'm going to put some boards on here in order to strengthen it for the tarp to be over the top of. That way there is no heavy snow load that will go down through that crack. So I'm going to get started on that. I also swept off this roof over here that I hadn't done before. It's in bad shape, but I don't think it's leaking in there yet. It's only like 25 years old versus 45, 50 years old. So at the end of it didn't have a tarp on it, so it's kind of wet, but at least I've got the debris cleaned off of it, so that should dry out. So what I will be doing is once these boards are on, I'll be tarping this entire building. And I'm not going to be tarping the new part anymore, obviously, because it's watertight now. So that's the game plan today, and then I'll probably get to work on the soffit on that side of the building. The soffit on the other side is done. I'll get a picture of that in a little while, but that's the goal for today. Hopefully I can get enough done before it gets dark. It gets dark now around 7:10, between 7 and 7:15, somewhere in there. So I've got about 5.5 hours, 5 hours to get all this done. All right, enough talking. Let's get to work. Okay, so this is the soffit I finished the other day on this side. Now I'm working on the soffit on the other side. So once I get this done, I can put the walls on and go from there. I'm using some T11 for this section right here, just to get it done. I mean, it's going to look odd not matching, but I'll figure out next year what I want to do, but at least I got to get a wall on there. So anyway, yeah, the soffit looks good. A little challenging being that narrow, but got her done. I think it's mouse proof, so. All right, on to the other side. Okay, this is the other side that I'm getting ready to tackle. I've got the one of the F channels up already on the on the wall part. And just got to put the next piece of F channel down there further, and then I'll work on the J channel on the outside, but I've got to put spacers in there first, 3/4 inch spacers to make the soffit come out level. Alright, back to work. Okay, so you can see I've started the soffit on this side, moving right along. Seems to be harder on this side than it was on the other side, I'm not sure why. Oh, anyways, it is so muggy today. You could cut the air with a knife, as the expression goes. And that's not kidding. I'm dying here with the humidity. So I've got not very much done. I've got all that to do. Alright, shut you off for a while and give you a progress report later. Be back. As you can see, I picked a good year to do shingling. Massive needle drop off these white pines. That's what I was putting up with up there doing that roof. Constantly cleaning needles out of my way. It was like snow. So, there you go. Cold today. 50s. Okay, good morning everybody. It's the first week of October. I'm not getting any sun for I don't know how many days. Wet, rainy conditions for several days. So, looking forward to the sun coming back out again and get work done. I worked on this door yesterday. And there's a buddy of mine out in Indiana. He's working on a door as well. But the header up top on that was, at least the top jamb of the door was way off. So I basically fixed that, got that leveled up, plumbed up the sides. I had to cut out the bottom sections and put some pressure treated in there, and it needed a new threshold as well down the bottom. That was actually gone over here, so I replaced that. The pressure treated studs that go up the sides that got a 10-degree slant. That's luckily I had a piece of the old one that actually gave me that degree of the threshold. So that's all set. Got a new threshold in. I just got to get the I've got some weatherproof trim to go around, but I need some spacing boards to go on there first. So I'm going to be going here to the hardware store to see if they've got any kind of lumber for that. As you can see, the trim that goes around the outside, I was able to take it off carefully, and I'll be able to put it back on. So that's this door. The other door is the same way. There is a threshold there, but it is all rotted out, so I've got to replace that and make the door fit. Actually had to take a rasp to this door. The door has settled and expanded over the years and gotten wet, so had to reshape the door to get the spacing around it that we needed so it shuts and opens easily. So that's ready to go. Just got to get some lumber to get that finalized. And as you can see, I haven't finished the soffit yet because I haven't been outdoors. I worked this is kind of inside yesterday. Was it drizzly all day, and today looks like it's not much better. So I'm a little past halfway with this soffit, so that's not going to take me long to finish that up. And hopefully I can get that done today after I kind of work on this door some more and work on the threshold of the other door. Alright, so I'm not running the remote mic because I'm holding the camera today, and no sense in micing up like that when I'm not going to be at a distance. So, alright, so we'll see you guys later, and stay tuned. Alright, so now the door closes properly and opens properly. It was, I put the trim back around the outside as well. It was rubbing on the floor and stuff, but after I modified everything and cleaned it up, she opens up. She opens up fine now and doesn't rub on the floor. So the only thing, I went over the hardware. I was going to get a skirt for the bottom but they didn't have what I needed. So that's the last thing I got to do with this door, is just put a skirt down on the bottom of the door to seal that, and I believe at that point in time it should be mouse proof. Alright, I'm going to move over and start on the soffit and finish this up here before end of day, and then once that's done I'll probably start on the other door. Once the doors and the soffits are done, then I should be able to start putting the inner wall in to mouse proof it over on that far end inside, and then put some T111 on the outside over there to seal that up. And I think at that point I'll pretty much be done, other than tearing down the carport and stowing everything inside the building for winter. And then it's probably off to the south. First I've got to run out and spend some time with the grandkids and my daughters, and then probably start heading south. Alright, so let's get back to work. Okay, moving right along with the soffit. I've got about, I don't know, probably 3 more pieces to do, I'd say, roughly. So this is the temporary wall siding that I had put up in one of my other videos. So it's just protecting for the winter, with at least the walls sealed up from mice. So alright, let me continue on here and finish up this soffit and move on to other things. Okay, that completes the soffit on both sides now. I'm going to move on to the other door. So we got this soffit complete, the other soffit complete, one door complete other than the sweep down at the bottom. You know, I took a sweep off one of these doors. I might be able to reuse it on this one. But there's the door complete. Just need to sweep down there on the bottom and we'll be good to go. Okay, on to door number 2.